Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
New tonight at 10, Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Bochinsky has issued an emergency declaration modifying hours of all class liquor license holders, including bars, restaurants, and off sale, to close daily at 11 p.m. The mayor has been in communication with both North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and Dr. Deborah Burks, the White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator, regarding the ways to prevent the spread of the virus. Mayor Bochinsky says, quote, "These high case numbers are alarming and we can't let this get out of hand. This goes into effect starting today." Dr. Deborah Burks came to Fargo today to discuss the state's fight against COVID-19. Burks met with the governor and first lady and held a roundtable discussion with state and local officials. While noting North Dakota is still a green state with a positive test rate of under 5%, Burks cautioned that the state's recent increase in active cases and the positive test rate could lead to an increase in hospitalizations and fatalities if action isn't taken now.
We do, out of respect for one another, have to understand how important these masks are in decreasing transmission. And they will be crucial going into the fall, and they're very critical right now in this area.
Burks urged North Dakotans to practice social distancing, wash their hands, avoid large gatherings, and wear masks. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers. Minnesota is reporting 1,032 confirmed cases of COVID-19 today, along with 4 new deaths linked to the illness. More than 1,800 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 375 new cases in the state, along with 2 new deaths. The death toll is at 141. The daily positivity rate is 4.75%. We are following breaking news from last night. One man is dead after a shooting in South Fargo. Police responded to reports of gunshots in the area of 44th Street South and 12th Avenue around 10:30. When they arrived, officers found a man with a gunshot wound. Police say he was taken to the local hospital and later pronounced dead. Currently, no suspects are in custody. If you have any information on this incident, you're urged to contact Fargo Police. Officials are asking for your help in finding the people responsible for a shooting this morning in Bemidji, who police say is considered armed and dangerous. Around 4 a.m., officials responded to Ridgeway Avenue for a report of gunshots. When officers arrived, they found a 19-year-old man who had been shot multiple times. He was taken to the Sanford hospital, where he was treated and released. Officials say he refused to give any information related to the shooting. Officials say the suspect was in what appears to be a gold or silver Cadillac 4-door sedan. The suspect was wearing a tan plaid short-sleeve shirt, black shorts, and a red and black baseball cap. A second man was also seen wearing a red sweatshirt just before the shooting. If you have any information, contact the Crime Stoppers of Minnesota online or by calling 1-800-222-TIPS. The activist group One Fargo hosted a March for Justice at Island Park. This most recent march to City Hall was to show support for Jacob Blake, a Wisconsin man who was shot by police last weekend. Valley News Teen's Devin Fry brings us sights and sounds from the march.
Can't stop, won't stop, can't stop, won't stop.
Marchers gathered at Island Park this morning, coming together for a march to City Hall. Hundreds were present with many chanting and bringing signs, joining together for what they called a March for Justice and Equality.
Because after 5,000 people hit the streets in Fargo, we still seeing the same thing.
The protesters then made their way to City Hall, going down 7th Street and then taking 1st Avenue. They even stopped to chant at the ongoing Red River Market at one point. Police had to put out traffic warnings on social media as protesters were in the way of vehicles on Broadway and 2nd Avenue.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Once they arrived at the vacant City Hall, another message was sent from event organizers.
We have to do more. We have to speak up more.
Despite some verbal disagreements,
7 times in the back at point blank range. He was walking away from the police.
These protests did remain peaceful with no forms of violence reported. The majority of the protesters were wearing masks for the outdoor event. Reporting from Fargo, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
The incident involving Jacob Blake in Wisconsin is currently under investigation. Several sources are now reporting Thomas Denny Sanford, South Dakota's richest man and philanthropist, was being investigated for possible possession of child pornography. In a statement from Marty Jackley, who is representing Sanford, he says, although we know very little about any state or federal inquiry related to Mr. Sanford, we do know those authorities responsible for investigating allegations obviously did not find information or evidence that supported or resulted in any criminal charges. This is a developing story. We have had a stretch of storms wreaking havoc across the valley this summer, Lakes Country being one of the hardest hit with several tornado touchdowns. These storms tore apart a brand new RV park. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie was back out there today to see how cleanup is coming along.
Dwayne Morey and his family of 4 sought out a new adventure this summer.
We thought, hey, this is time for us to sink our feet in and try some of this lake life.
Morey brought his brand new camper to the Lakeside RV Park in Otter Tail County, saying it seemed like a safe way for his family to enjoy the summer. They put it in park for the 4th of July. 3 days later, he was called out to this mess.
The tornado turns everything upside down. It's like that devastation you see on TV that you think that's never going to happen to you. And here it is, and there's campers turned up everywhere, and there's debris.
The park had only been up and running for 1 weekend when a tornado ripped through it.
Pretty heartbroken. Yeah, all the hard work and then have to start all over again was tough.
9 of 11 campers on site were demolished, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages.
It was pretty unbelievable. I mean, it was chaos.
One family was at the site during the tornado, but no one was hurt. Weeks later, and cleanup is still underway. Things are finally getting back to normal, just as the summer is wrapping up.
We're here. We found a new, different camper, and after a couple-week delay in there, and now we're back and doing what we had intended to start with in the beginning.
The tornado couldn't scare the Moreys off or anybody else. Thanks to the help of the community, the park is ending the summer the way it started, and families are looking forward to the next. In Otter Tail County, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
The Lakeside RV Park is making the best of the situation. The park owners say they plan to expand as they rebuild.